Okay, hello guys. We're going to continue on with our discussion on our binomial nomenclature. And just for fun, I wanted to share with you some segments from one of my favorite cartoons from childhood. You're going to watch a little snippet of this. Maybe you've seen this, maybe your parents have shown you this, but the Roadrunner and the Coyote. Growing up, these were some of my favorite Bugs Bunny cartoons, and partly because science nerd that I am, they would attempt to make comical, scientific, binomial names for the coyote and the roadrunner. And you can see one up here. This is a still for the coyote. They made up this name. It's not the real scientific name. Famichius vulgaris ingeniusi. In other words, a big eater that's a genius, or rather he thinks he's a genius. And then the roadrunner, Birdius Hybalius, like very fast. And so this became the running gag in the cartoon, and you'll see it. It's a little 4-minute video on how the cartoon animators made this all about poking fun at the scientific names. They Latinized these words, right? There's no real Latin word, famicius, but they're playing on famished, like I'm starved, I'm famished. And that's kind of the idea behind it. And so it became a rather cute intellectual joke for what kind of scientific name they would come up with. So somebody actually put together a montage of the Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote's Latin translations. And so it's pretty cute. And then I don't always classify organisms, but when I do, I use binomial nomenclature. I don't know why, but that just made me laugh. So you'll watch this, and then there you go. Now, the binomial nomenclature literally means two-name naming system. And the two-name naming system is going to be left over from Linnaeus. That was one of his claim to fame. He wrote the book Systema Naturae, but he also then developed this system that we still use. And again, the reason is if you have a scientist from Japan who's studying a particular bacterial species or a plant species, and you have a scientist in Germany and a scientist in Egypt and a scientist in South Africa or Kenya, you want to be able to kind of conquer the language barrier. And so while each language may have its own personal name, a scientific name allows them to communicate with each other. Now, this was part of your homework assignment, so you should know this, and of course you guys can tell all about it in your class as well. So the first name that you use is the genus name. And the genus name allows you to see the broader classification, right? You have the dog and the wolf and the coyote. They're all in the genus Canis. So it's a little broader. It includes multiple species, and the genus name is capitalized. And then the species name is the second name of the binomial nomenclature. It refers to the actual species. It's the specific epithet. It's the name of that species. And it is lowercase. Both of them are either underlined or italicized, which is really simple to do in Word. If you're writing somebody a letter or just writing in a quick note, it's standard to underline the scientific name. So they have to be both names. You can't just be species, and I'll show you why. The species is often named after where the species is, or the environment, or the habitat. It could be a description of the animal. So, for instance, the Quercus alba is the white oak. Quercus is the genus name for oaks. Alba refers to the fact that it's white. Albino, alba, there you go. Now, Tyto alba would be the barn owl. And so they named the barn owl because it has the white feathers. And so, unfortunately, in this regard, the species name itself is not very helpful. However, if you put quercus in front of alba, now you know, oh, we're referring to the white oak. Same thing with the owl. And then another example of these, indica is referring to the fact that these are all found in India. And so you've got the Bubalus indica, which is the water buffalo, or Bubalus, I don't know how to pronounce some of these. Bos indica, there is the zebu, it's a type of cow. Mangifera indica, that's the mango. And then the Muscula indica, which is a little deer, little tiny deer, oftentimes called the mouse deer. And so all of these have been named because we find them specifically in India. But that's not going to be super helpful to us. We need to have that genus name to help us narrow things down. So you're going to, in the next slide, you're going to practice writing the scientific name. You did that for homework, but we're going to do this on the next slide as well. Now, before I show you the slide, one thing I want you to know is that when I did these, there's one of them that's written correctly, and then the rest of them, there's something wrong in some way. So I'd like you guys, as a class, as you hit pause and work on yours. So you're going to pause the video, work on yours, and then when you guys come back together, I want you to go ahead and criticize mine, like, what did I do wrong? Now, all of these things are things that I have seen before on tests or quizzes. And so there they are. Again, one of them is written correctly, but the rest have something wrong with them. So put on your best examination glasses and your brains on a full alert, because there are incorrect and problematic scientific names. So try to figure those out. All right, now that pretty much concludes today. If you needed time to work on the homework from the weekend, you can catch up if you didn't get those done. You are going to have one more video to watch if you have time. There is a short quiz, and emphasize short, like 5 minutes, on Connection Day that will be about this material. Basically the taxonomy system, the levels and the orders, and then the binomial nomenclature, similar to what we did in class today. So that's what you can look forward to. Your homework is simply to study your notes, make sure that you have them good and read and answered fully. All right, have a good day.